There we go. Okay, let's keep going then. So again, not every number is an amount. So not all numbers lead to quantitative data. Okay, and here's a quick example that, age in years of each so we're classifying if each measurement here is quantitative or qualitative. Qualitative or quantitative. So age, right? Well, that's an amount in years. That would be quantitative. So it makes sense to do calculations with that, like the average age or the maximum age, so to say. It makes sense to do calculations. It's an amount. Number two we see is also, the number of eggs laid by each chicken in a sample. That's quantitative. That's an amount. The average number of eggs laid by a chicken or whatever. Time in line to buy something like groceries, that's also quantitative. Time in line. The maximum amount of time you can add in total, the total amount of time among 5 people, right? They spent in line to buy groceries. You could do calculations with it, is what I'm saying. Of course, as the answers are there, 4 and 5, favorite baseball team, what's another one? The brand of toothpaste that people use. Here's another example, your name, that's data, that's qualitative data. It doesn't make sense to do calculations with that. Those are just examples. Okay. All right, so those are some examples we have, like quantitative and qualitative data. So those are the different, those are the kind of data we can deal with. Now, once we have that kind of data and, we have conclusions or whatever from it, we would like to display our conclusions. We would somehow like to present that data to the public. You might see that, companies do that. For instance, they'll give graphs. You might see that in newspapers and magazines. They'll show like graphs and charts of data. You might see like from a school, on average, this is the grade distribution among our seniors. They're presenting some kind of data. Well, we can do that. We like to present data visually. And there are different ways of doing that. Qualitative data, we can use frequency tables. We'll see other ways, but one way is a frequency table. That's a table where there are 2 columns. One of them is the values of the variable. The other column is the frequency, and how many items are in each category. I'll get to the third part. But for instance, you can, a teacher could go around asking people in a school, asking students what their favorite color is. Let's say 136 students responded. This would be the categories, the qualitative data, but this is the amount of people in each category. So 25 students, that is, had their favorite color blue, 40 said orange was their favorite color, 21 said green was their favorite color, and so on. So we have this kind of table, a frequency table. If you were to add up these numbers, you would get 136, which is the total number of students who responded. That's just something you should get. That's good. But this is what a frequency table is. So again, you have one column, which gives the possible values of the variable, in this case, color, and the other one is the frequency, the amount in each data. Wait, no, that's not right. The amount of items in each category. That's better. So 25 said their favorite color was blue. 18 said their favorite color was black. 17 said their favorite color was purple. That kind of thing. Some of these tables will have a third column, which is relative frequency. There, that's just the frequency divided. That's just the frequency divided by the total number of frequencies. So it's relative to the whole, that is. So in this case, we had 136, right? So for this category, we have 25 over 136, right? Again, the total number of the frequencies, right? That's 136. We're taking each frequency and dividing by the total. That's relative frequency. That's relative frequency. For orange, we have 40 over 136. And we can actually get that as a percent. Part of a whole. I did round it off, to 4 decimal places. And I would tell you how many decimal places to round off. 1 over 136, 15 over 136, and so on. And this is them as a percent. If you were to add these up, you should get 136 over 136. If you add up the percentages here, although I did round it, so you probably should get very close to 100%. Maybe a little more, maybe a little less, but you would be very close, though. All right. But that's a frequency and relative frequency table. Any questions on that? Okay. Now, so we had a frequency table. What we can do really using a frequency table is make up what's called a bar graph. So in other words, we can display data graphically using what's called a bar graph. The idea there is that you have, a vertical and horizontal axis, or if you want, I guess I hate to say X and Y axis, but I guess you could think of it that way. What you would do is you would list each category, and over each category you would have a bar where the height is given by the frequency. The height gives the frequency. Each bar's height corresponds to the frequency. So you could draw one by hand. However, since this class is online, I'm probably not going to ask you to do that. What I could ask you to do is to draw one, have the computer draw one. In other words, you can use Google Sheets to draw one. I mean, Google Sheets is what I focus on, mostly because it's free. I don't know if you guys have Excel or not, but I think Excel you can make one of these as well. But for instance, this is an example of one, of a bar graph. Now the idea here is, right, you have a bar for each category, or in this case color. The height gives you the frequency. The horizontal axis, as you can see, are the categories. The vertical axis is the frequencies. You have blue, orange is 40, green is 21, so and so on. I actually made this using Google Sheets. I made this using Google Sheets. I mean, I didn't get past this in the last class, but I guess I'll go past this a bit because we have some time left over. What if I went too fast? See if I went too fast. I just feel like I have to ask this. Hope I didn't go too. If I did, don't be afraid to say so. I won't get upset. You could be honest. I mean, is anyone confused about anything? That is, are there any questions? Okay. I think I might have gone a little too fast. I'm sorry if I did. But because in the other class, we almost stopped around here. All right. Well, I guess we might as well keep going, though. So, all right. All right. So anyway, but this is what we can get from a frequency table. You can get what's called a bar graph. Now, I don't know your experience with Google Sheets at all, everyone. I do know in Microsoft Excel you can make such a bar graph like this. What I did though was I made it using Google Sheets. I mean, what I like about that is it's free.